Hello to all of our BPTV friends, YouTube friends, Facebook friends, and new friends of our new guest. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I'm honored here to be doing my 11th painting show with Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint. But hold on before I introduce my co-producer and co-host. Look between Sonia, oops, shouldn't say her name, and Maria. We won the Greater Pittsburgh Media Award for our show with Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint. I'm honored. That's my 4th award I've won there, and I'm very proud and honored. And I'm letting Maria keep it in her eclectic studio that's Jono's. So her husband and her can show off that I helped produce this show and co-host it. Now, with no further ado, Maria, please introduce yourself.
Okay. All right. Hi, guys. I'm Maria DeSimone-Brasic. We're here at Jono's Art Studio in the Hilltop at the Southside Slopes. And we have a very special guest today, Sonia Koupiaris. She is manager and volunteer coordinator at Fresh Start Café in Canonsburg PA. So welcome, Sonia. We are so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
You're
This
welcome.
is such a pleasure and an honor to be here. I'm
Thank you.
excited for us to get started today.
And we heard she's crafty and creative, which I figured you were. So now she's going to paint. We're going to get her hooked on painting too. So yeah.
And
So-
I will try to follow both ladies' leads because
Yes.
you know I'm a little slower and heavier
Yeah.
handed.
Yeah.
But you can paint too, so check out getting kits like what we have here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk too much, so Maria, carry on and
Okay.
show us.
All right. So today, I designed Cup of Love because of their logo is a cup with the sun and the Fresh Start Cafe. And also this place is amazing, and Sonia can tell us more about that.
Well, she's
So-
wearing a shirt that
Yes.
represents.
Yes.
Yes, I do have a
Like
little
the
coffee
place-
cup there.
You have to go check out their coffees and
Here, just frame it
teas
like
and
this.
the waffles. Oh my gosh, the waffles! I'll just love them. So anyway, yes. So this
You're
was.
teasing me. I might have to stop out in the next week.
It's so good. It's so good. So, okay, we are going to get started here, and usually we start with the background. We're using acrylics. Oils, I'd never say that.
No.
We're using acrylics, and we are using 11 by 14 canvas panel. You can use a stretch canvas. You can use a different size. There's always the 10-minute video on my YouTube channel, which is Maria's Ideas Art, that shows you how to draw the design if you don't know how to draw or you just need a little help. And then each one coordinates with the episode. So this is episode 11, Cup of Love. So what we're going to do is grab our 1-inch. I don't think we have a visual for that one, but a 1-inch
It looks
flat.
large.
Yes, it's pretty big. It
we-
might even be a little bit more than 1 inch.
And you've taught me to do this.
Yeah, so we always wet the brush. Sometimes if they're new, they are a little stiff from like a glue or something
This
they
one
put in.
isn't. Yes.
Yeah,
This one's
so we're
pretty
good.
good,
And just
too.
take the extra water off. This helps,
And Sonia, I'll help you.
and just dab it on
We
the
just
paper
dab
towel.
it
Oh,
on
perfect.
your
Yeah,
paper
take
towel.
the
I got
extra
mine
water.
to the left, so
Yeah.
you're right-handed. Use your left. and
Yeah, what
I
it
won't
does-
touch yours.
Yeah, it helps the paint just grab a little bit better. And then we have just plates, foam plates. You could use paper plate. So what we're going to do is I usually start with the lighter colors, and I like to go from like one color to another and sometimes not even clean my brush because then you get other shades and other colors, which kind of makes it interesting. So if you start from a lighter color or a similar color and go into similar colors, they won't look as muddy and dirty. So we're going to start with the yellow and do this lower area here. So we're just gonna take a generous amount of paint and we're just gonna mix it kind of right on the canvas. And
Oh, we're just going to the canvas?
Yes.
No
So-
plate?
We're gonna go right to the canvas. So we're gonna take, so what I'm even doing here, let me grab, so if we do something like this, where I put my corner of the brush here, but let's put a little bit of white. You can even stick the other corner, even if you covered your whole brush. I'm gonna
did.
put a little bit of white on one of the corners too. So typically we'll go to the palette or a plate, but we're just going to mix it right on the canvas. So with some of that white, start on the left side because our light source, if you look at our picture, our design, Our light source is coming from the left side. So you can see we're just moving this paint around. If you...
Should we just go straight down or just...
No, I like to just go different directions. More like I typically tend to use more like a cross hatching technique. And you can see now I just added more white to it. If you do this with different...
And we'll do it on the left because you taught me about it being darker on the right.
So
just to give you some guidance.
Yeah, so my
Interesting.
white tended to blend in. I still wanted a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to add a little bit more white and just leave it, not mix it in there. As it comes around, if it looks like this where it's dragging, you need more paint or even a little bit of water. You can see that the texture of the canvas. And then just come around. This little area here is the shadow. So you can go up into that, but you don't have to worry about covering all that. Then as we get to this other side, so by mixing it right on the canvas, it just makes it a little more interesting the way we're doing this. We don't have to worry about mixing it on the plate. As you come up around in this side here, I'm going to take a tiny bit of red. Just a little bit of red. It's very strong. Now you might want to take the extra off on your plate just to see how much you have. And if you mix that in here, you can see it makes a really golden yellow. See how warm?
That's really pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
And what that does is already, just by painting that first layer, but by mixing it on the canvas, we have the lighter on the left side, that white, and then the warmer, deeper tones on the right side. We already have our light and shadows somewhat established. We can always add more, but then you want to do that while it's wet. So while your paint is wet on here, that's when you want to create that shading. But you can see it's lighter on this side and then darker on this side. See, if you follow the pickle, I'll show you.
Thank you,
follow
pickle.
that little pickle there. And so there, it's already done. And like I said, you can kind of just clean off the brush, put it up in that section anyway if you want to, but that's just the shadow area, and that's it. Oh, that looks good.
Very nice.
Yeah,
It's a
and
little
then
light. It's a little redder.
it's great. It's
fine.
your
Mine
it's
too.
your
I'm
painting.
heavy-handed, so
It's yours. So and
I
then,
added extra yellow to make it a
it
little
looks
lighter.
good. Now, if you wanted this to blend in a little more,
Yes.
but it keeps it, so rinse your brush.
Okay.
And then get rid of some of that red. Like rinse
Okay.
it good and then dry it off on the paper towel. And you probably don't need to add anything.
Okay,
But
just
if
a
you
little.
do, you can add a little bit of yellow again and introduce the yellow to that area and just blend them
Okay.
together. But as far as the paint direction, like I said, you can do the brush strokes horizontal, vertical. I just kind of like to do more of like a cross hatch technique, which is more like this, where you're flipping the brush. And I tend to just paint like that in a lot of the areas anyway. Now, the other thing we're not going to do, let me get a little bit more yellow. I'm still not cleaning my brush. So you can even
I
put...
cleaned mine.
Well, that's okay. So
I
you
put
can
it back. What am I going to do next with it?
Put a little bit of yellow back on your brush. Just you can take the extra off. And what we're going to do, I should have said that first. We're going to clean our brush, Alan, on the canvas. So up in this, right up here in the corners, we're just going to, look, I'm just cleaning my brush off. Just take all that extra.
Well, I already did, so I'll add a little yellow.
It looks a little crazy, right? But it's cool. You'll see. You're going to cover some of it, but this is going to be under our background color.
Oh,
And
nice.
what
Oh,
we
my
want
goodness.
to do is let some of this peek through. All right?
Wow,
So
this is advanced.
there are many ways to paint. There's no right or wrong way. There are, traditional ways to paint. I really didn't plan on doing it that way, but as I'm working here, you just go with it. Go with the flow.
Well, we don't script the show. This is all in your head.
Right.
So we appreciate it.
That's right.
All right, I left some yellow on.
It
What do
looks
I do
great.
next?
Okay, so now you will use the plate. So I'm taking some yellow, and then we'll put that on the plate. This blue is very strong.
Okay.
Now, we want more of a teal color. So we want more yellow than blue. We don't want equal parts.
Okay.
Just the corner of the brush, I'm going into the blue and put it beside the yellow. Okay, and then introduce them and see if you like the color. Nah, that's too green, so I am going to add more blue.
Would you say mine's too
No.
green then?
I take that back.
No,
This blue,
that actually looks really good.
it does. It does.
All
So
right, so I'm going to go.
mine
Thank
is
you,
too
ladies.
green. I don't
Yeah.
like it. So I'm going to, sometimes, now this is it's not an ultramarine blue. It's a cooler blue. That's not too bad. So I take it back. We're going to use more blue, less yellow. Boy, I have a lot on my, I have a lot of it. Okay, this is why you have to learn how to mix colors,
I
because you
have
end
a
up with
spare
a.
plate if you need it.
Well, I'm changing my mind as I'm going. So this is more what I was going for. Also, acrylics always dry a little darker. So if you like the color that's there, stop. Or you could add a tiny bit of white.
I like my
I'm going to
color.
add a little bit
Yeah,
of
your
white to
color
mine
is good.
because I want to lighten it a tiny bit so that when it dries, it will be that color. So if you add a little bit of white, and we can add more blue to it on top of the canvas like we did the.
I like my color. I'm ready.
yeah,
What
and
do
look-
I do?
It kind of looks like, look, it kind of matches my pickle too. I
It
have right on my
does.
thumb. So what we're going to do is we're taking this background color. As you need more, you're going to mix more on your plate.
Yes.
That looks great. It may look a little bit different too.
Okay.
And as you can see here,
Yeah.
there are variations in this color. So
Lighter on the left,
well,
darker on the right.
exactly. It's darker down here because our light source is here. So since I have a lot of paint on my canvas right now, I'll start there and just get rid of some of that.
Oh,
Mine's
okay.
still too.
Mine's a little lighter, so
Yeah.
should I go to the left and do the opposite?
Sure, you can do that. Sure.
All right. I'm
So-
trying to go by what you've taught
Yeah.
me, teacher.
So I'm putting this, now we're still using a really big brush.
Yeah.
So when you cut in around this cup, all you have to do is lay that little corner of that brush, see how I'm pushing it a little bit? And just pull your brush around, and that's how you can cut in. But when you cut in and blend with the background like this, move that, push that paint out, like don't jump to the other side of the canvas. Keep working on that spot right there. And now I'm even going to throw a little bit of blue right now. I just want it bluer and darker there. And then same thing here. You can hold the brush this way, or you can hold it this way. When you push it down and those bristles spread out, you just find where they're kind of sitting on the canvas and just pull your arm. And that way that gives you a nice cut. It gives you a nice cut in. Now we can see here, I'm leaving some of that yellow kind of pop through. Now I have a lot of paint on my brush and it's really heavy and I really want to start getting this lighter. So I'm going to rinse it a little bit just to get some of that out of there.
Maria, this is a first for our show with
It
your
is.
heavy paint.
Yeah, just
I've never seen this from you, this
Well,
side. It's a
with
nice
this-
side.
and it's with this look, I just kind of wanted to give it more of a, almost like a rustic, more, I don't know, earthier kind
You're
of
going for an
looser,
earthier scene here.
looser vibe, because I feel like the cafe has a very casual
It
but
is very
inviting kind
casual.
of. I didn't want this to be like a formal, painting. So you can see I'm letting that yellow. I didn't have as much as you guys, but yeah, let that yellow poke through. You can make I like that how you're doing those brush strokes like that. Put the brush strokes any direction you want. If you want them, nice and smooth. Again, you can see where, as I'm blending it, I'm just blending it on the plate a little bit, but also on the canvas. And as I come around, I'm going to throw in more white over here. And then I'll get that line here, and then just come around. You're a fast painter. Jesus.
I knew
Well, you're also used to what? Managing,
Moving
pouring
in
coffee,
all different directions.
make waffles,
Multitasking.
managing people. You're doing everything.
Plus 3 kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. And then just look at it. If you want to blend a little, you want to add a little darker yellow, the background teal. So they're all going to look different, which is, I love that. Ooh, that's
I don't know
nice.
why. I just was feeling I wanted
like
it to
it.
be a little bit lighter there.
And that's
but
where you just go with the flow, whatever feels good to you, just,
Looks wonderful.
yeah. So I just want to add a little bit more texture in mine.
this is so therapeutic.
Yeah, see?
Really, just like sitting here,
Yeah.
just moving this
I'll
brush
only
around.
charge you $20 for this session.
Yeah.
So worth it.
And then where you could see
You can
where
put the money in the jar.
That's right, where you have it, where this is considered a dry brush technique, where you are purposely not covering the canvas, you're letting that other color show through, whether it's the canvas or a different color. That's more of a dry brush technique, and that's really interesting to do too with anything that you paint on. So that's where you'd have less on your brush,
Ooh.
and just sometimes you
You're
can
already
even.
advanced.
Yeah,
Well,
she is.
you
She's
know.
doing her dry brush technique, and you would just dab out all the extra paint off, and then you
Thanks
can
for being a
just
great
hit.
guest.
Yeah.
Thanks
And
for having her, Maria.
Yes. Now
She's taking us to the next level
You're
after
welcome.
our award-winning show.
That's right. Now you can grab a smaller brush to cut
Okay,
in
to
around
cut
that.
in
If
there.
that's because if you already like the way that looks, you can grab the 1/2 inch flat.
Okay.
You can use that to cut in, and we're going to be grabbing one of those anyway. So I'm
Okay.
done with my background. I still feel like mine's a little greener. But
Well, mine is definitely more
I'm
green.
going to add, which I do want it to be more that teal. Yeah, I think I'll leave it. I'm going to throw a little bit of some blue. See, I'm just mixing, just because I like blue, but that's all. I'm good with that. Okay, good. So we're going to put our brush in the water. Either rinse your brush really well after you use it if it's going to sit,
Okay.
or leave it in the water.
Got it.
Because the acrylics dry really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave
I'm
it
going
there
to
for a
change
little
my
bit.
plate here. So now we are going to paint the cup. So we're going to zoom in on that. So traditionally you might think take the red and start filling it in. No, we're going to do something different. Does anybody know how to make brown? Well, this is what we're using. We have
All of them together?
So we have the primary colors, red, blue, yellow, and then we have black and white. So you can make a lot of colors or hues with those primary colors. But
What brush do we use?
We want a brown, so we're going to grab the 1/2-inch flat
Okay.
shader. All right?
I got
So
it.
we want a brown, a warmer brown, like a chocolatey brown, okay?
Ooh,
Any thoughts?
like Sarah's
Do you want a
brown.
new plate? Well, I think you're still good with yours.
I think I'm okay.
Okay. Any ideas?
No, I'm
Brown?
confused. I'd put about 4 colors
I'm
together.
going to do red and yellow.
All right, so red and yellow would make orange.
Oh, right.
Which
Then
is
I'd put-
okay, but then
I'd put blue in.
yes. So we're going to use all 3 primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. The amount
guess.
of red, blue, or yellow will determine the tone of the blue. So I want mine a warmer, chocolatey. So that to me is more reds than
So
the
we
blue.
start with red?
Well, you can start with any color, but just I'm going to grab the yellow and put that on your plate, okay? Because we're going to mix the brown on our plate.
That's the theme of our day.
Now when you put this next color, don't put it right in the yellow.
Okay.
Put it beside it. Grab some red, put it beside it,
Okay.
and then grab some blue. Now, in another spot, start introducing, I'm just going to introduce each color. See, I'm kind of moving it along. I'm like, okay, now I need my blue. And you can see already I have my chocolate brown.
Wow, that was so fast.
Okay. Now, if you want yours a little dark chocolate, add more blue.
Wait, it's like instantly brown.
Yeah, look at mine.
Well,
here. I'm stunned.
and that's why you.
Sonia, I'm stunned too.
Yeah, and you always start with the primary colors when you're trying to mix because they're like the true cleaner colors. If you took red and you added black, or if you add some other colors, it
I'm
tends to
truly
get
amazed.
dirty. Now yours looks more like dark chocolatey, and even
It
so.
does.
I got a
Wait,
lighter.
so
I'm
I
going to
need
add
more-
blue.
So
I'm going
I
blue.
would say
Yellow?
Okay. Yellow, a little bit more yellow, and even if you have to find a new
Yeah,
spot to mix it,
I
that
might-
looks good.
Oh, hey.
That looks
I'm
very
brown.
good, and it's going to dry slightly darker. All right, so what we're going
I need
to
approval on mine.
Well,
that's very green.
All right.
So you
maybe
need
more,
red.
more red.
Oh,
Yes,
red?
see,
Okay.
you know,
That-
she knows.
That's why I need your
I knew
help.
it.
I got the lady team helping
That's
me.
right. All right. So what we're going to do now, all right, I have my brown. We're going to add a little black to it, but first we're going to do some brush
Whoa.
strokes because we're going to make it some of these shadows. So what we're doing is we want to pick out, right now, we're going to pick out the darker areas and the shadows, then we're going to paint. And I'll show you why we're going to do this. All right, so we are going to come in here and we're going to hold my brush vertically like this. And I'm not, this is going to be red, but right now I want a darker edge on the cup. So I'm coming around,
Ah,
all right?
okay.
And we're just pulling it. You see how I have my brush, keep it nice and flat like this, a chiseled edge.
okay.
See, I'm
Oh.
flipping my brush like this.
I lost the chisel.
What you do is flip it back and forth,
Okay.
and then we're going to come around and just paint the shape of the cup, and then any other areas that are darker. So under here, I'm just using the corner of the brush. This doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of this is going to be covered up. Under here, this is darker, with a little bit of shadow. And you see it's very loose what I'm doing. And then also under the plate, the little saucer. And then with this brown, I feel like mine needs a little more red in it. I'm coming around and I want this to fade out right here. I actually need a little bit of water. Just blend it right out. Okay. And then the other side of the cup. Oh, we should do the handle too. Pretty much outline it. I don't like to use the word cartoony, but we are outlining everything, but again, we're going to cover some of this up. Now I'm going to take some black. I'm going into my brown with the black, and then the darkest area that you see right here, it's right under here.
Oh, wow.
And this here, okay? And I'm just blending it out. So are you okay talking and painting at the same time? I bet you are.
I think so.
So I'm just going to keep,
Just carry on.
I'm going to keep painting, and then I'll grab the red after this, so you can follow along. But I'd like you to, tell us about the cafe and
First, give
what
the
you do there.
address.
Oh
Yes.
boy, yes, 46 West Pike Street in Canonsburg, downtown Canonsburg. It's truly one of the things I love to talk about the most.
Well, then I'm glad we started with that.
Yes, I love the area. It's got so much character, and it's truly coming back to life, I guess.
There's a revival that I've
there's
seen.
Truly. So I'm not from Canonsburg or Pittsburgh. I'm from Chicago, but my husband grew up in East End, Canonsburg. And so just hearing how much he has talked about what it used to be like and what it's like now, and kind of like that period of when it was kind of like not a lot going on, businesses closing and such. It's exciting to be a part of it. And now I feel like Canonsburg's kind of like my hometown.
Yeah. All right, Chicago girl.
Yeah. So it's been exciting to be a part of the growth there.
The rebirth of all
Yes,
this.
and just to see what's so cool for me is I get to be a part of the community. So many people come into the coffee shop and are so grateful that we're there. We needed something like this, and they truly appreciate having somebody care enough about the town to really put so much effort into it.
And it is a beautiful town with
Yeah,
the
it
older
really-
houses and the streets there.
It is. It's great. And a lot of the residents are still there from, 30
Right.
plus, 40 plus years. I get to hear so many stories of,
And I remembered back from the 80s, actually, so I understand what your husband's been telling you.
Yeah.
It's all true.
yeah.
Oh, sorry,
All
that
of it.
slipped out.
Yeah, no. No, it's
I'm
great.
a little humorous, so.
No, it's all good. It's definitely part of something that
It's very special.
It's very special.
It is a very special place.
It
Let me
is.
just give one little tip, and then you can talk about the
Yeah.
place again too. But I want to talk about those waffles too.
Yeah.
So you can see here, I outlined everything with the brown. Then I came in with the black. If you look at the design, there are some very dark areas because again, that light source is on the left. So now we're going to just paint this cup, and I'm kind of painting wet on wet. So you can paint the cup, you can let it dry, you can layer with glazes and layers of paint. If you make a glaze, you just add a little bit of water.
And we can even go over some of the brown too,
Right. Or purposely, we have to go over some of the brown. This is just to give us like that little line. Otherwise, if we painted the cup first, and then we'd have to try to trim it with this tiny little line, then it can tend to look a little cartoony. We're basically going to cover a lot of the lines, but it just gives you that
Well,
edge.
you've taught me a few things,
Yes.
so I see this now.
Yeah, so
And make sure you
that looks
check out the
good.
videos.
That looks good. So then just add some of that dark. That looks good. So now I'm just going to go wet on wet with all of the rest of it. And so we're going to do some of that. So I'm going to grab the red, and then also we're going to darken the red a little bit too. So first I'm going to take my red, and again, keep that chisel point. If you have too much paint in the bristles of your brush, it will get a little puffy at the belly of the brush. Just rinse it and just add more paint at the tip. And you can see I always flip it back and forth to load it and then keep that chiseled edge. So now I'm coming around, I'm covering up some of that brown. I'm doing that little edge here. You know what? Okay, I changed my mind.
Uh-oh,
I'm going to I'll tell you why. Right now, I know. Good, you didn't do it yet.
Do it yet.
We are
I
going
didn't even know where she's at yet.
I know. I changed my mind because I don't want pink foam in the pink. Okay, let's just grab white and just throw the white in the middle.
Okay.
All right,
Anyway, just get it in there.
All right.
Just so, see,
I
like right
appreciate your
now, it's
technical
going to grab
terms.
my red.
Yes.
I don't want pink.
Get it in the cup.
Just fill up the cup with the white and then we're good.
Okay.
Okay, done.
okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going to take the red. Because if we put the red on first, then we did the white, and the white grabs some of the red, then you have a bunch of pink foam, and then you're trying
Right.
to cover it. So just
Okay.
fill it up with the white. Okay, we're good. And we'll do the little design later.
Okay.
All right, so now I'm coming in with the red. I'm trimming around. I'm holding my brush vertically. And it's this edge of the cup is a little darker over here. And you can see I'm covering some of that red. Where it's a little brighter, once this dries a little, I will add some more brown. And we can still add some white to cover up some of this edge as we need it, but we just need to get it on here. All right, so now I'm coming in, I'm painting, we have to paint in between that handle because that's the little saucer in between. We're coming around. Let's grab, for this part, this is a 1/2-inch filbert. It's curved, okay? And we're gonna use, because you can see we're doing some curved shapes, it just lends itself nicely to painting with the filbert. Okay, so now we're just filling in the cup, all red. Loading it really heavily. And again, I kind of like to see these brush strokes. If you give it more of that painterly look, I just like it, okay? It just looks, I mean, we're not trying to paint something that looks photographic or hyper realistic. We want it to look like it's hand painted, right?
Yeah.
So you can see some of that texture in there.
So then I go to the filbert with
Filbert,
the red.
yep.
Okay.
And then we're just filling in the
I'm
saucer.
trying to catch up, Speedy.
Yeah. And now you can see how
Oh, wow.
that brown underneath.
I know.
So you see this red is somewhat translucent, so that brown, you see that brown underneath kind of creates a little bit of a
Wow.
shadow. And that's by putting that on first. This would be considered a glaze because you're glazing, you can still see that color underneath. And when you glaze something, you're using one color, you let it dry, put another on top, but you can see through it.
That looks amazing. So this would be my filbert. Okay. I'm going to go red now. So
red. So I'm
going to
covering.
try to follow your lead. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Look
Now-
at that.
Wow.
I did cover some, but I'm probably still going to have to add a little bit of that shadow back in, but it just really has a really nice effect. And then I'm going to take more red on my palette and mix a little bit of black with it and darken this red a little bit. And coming in here, the shadow, okay, because that light source is on the left side. And this is all wet on wet, so you can see it's all blending in really nicely. So there's my shadow. And then while I have that black on my brush, I'm going to really come in at nice, crisp black right in here. And I'm cleaning off my brush because now I feel like there's too much black on there. I'm just going to blend that out a little bit. And then I'm coming under the saucer again with some black. Because again, we want that really dark shadow there.
Whoa.
Oh, whoopsie. Oh, I like it. No, look.
Wow.
Don't change. That's good. Some love spilled out of the cup.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, you can cover it if you want, but I don't know. Things like that, I just leave them.
Oh, that's
They wanted
funny.
to, you know, it just makes it interesting.
That's your signature
Okay,
there.
That's right.
That'll
Your
work.
style.
Maybe like, you know,
She
sometimes.
told me there's no mistakes. So
Okay,
I
we'll
make
go
'em.
with it.
Sometimes
We'll go
things
with it.
happen, or a little coffee spills right here and there.
Whoa.
Yep. And then under the handle.
I understand the connection there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can see I just picked out some of these little areas where I want it a little darker, and then right in there, that handle, okay? Now, I'm coming in, I'm gonna rinse my brush. I'm gonna grab some of my blue mixture, with the little bit of the yellow in there, and I'm going to hit, just because, why not? Just for fun. I just want some of this, I want some of that background color. I feel like a good painting, you should kind of, all the colors should kind of coordinate or mix a little. They should all kind of be married to each other a little bit. So I'm
Whoa.
going to throw a little bit in here. You know, again, just
Oh,
this
that's
style of
pretty.
painting, just to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and then come around here. So also, if you didn't know, the cafe is a nonprofit, right?
Yes.
I've
Okay.
only heard that.
Yes, we are a nonprofit. We've recently partnered with the Santa Fund.
So you have your 501c3?
We do.
Just checking.
Yes, all good. We have. We're also partnered with the food pantry there in Canonsburg, as well as the Blessings in a Backpack.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
all
That
to
sounds
benefit the
great.
kiddos in Canonsburg. Absolutely.
So you go get a cup of coffee, you get something and the pastries and things that
Yes.
I've heard waffles
and
are
who makes those?
tremendous.
That's-
So yes, Father George's daughter Cassiani, she is our gluten-free baker, and
So good.
She has gluten-free by Cassiani. She
Wow.
provides.
And they're
They're
good.
amazing. I mean, there's really nothing like it. She does a great job. She provides us with our goodies every week, and she also donates back to the coffee shop with some of the proceeds that she, you know.
Wow, that
yeah,
is great.
It's fantastic. It's
What
a
a
great
group you
partnership.
have.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And one of the things that we are kind of famous for, I guess, would be our waffles. Our Johnny waffle is named after.
How big is it?
It's about a 4-ounce serving.
I had to ask.
Yes,
So good.
it's pretty big. It's nice, and it's a Liège-style Belgian waffle that's pressed with pearl sugar, so they're perfectly sweet, and it's like the great on-the-go treat. If you're going between the library and shopping, and you know,
Yes.
whatever, you
You
could
need
just
some energy.
Yeah, a little bit on the go, and it's all good.
And everything's nearby.
Everything is close by, so it's, you know, it's a wonderful place to stop in, meet a friend, get some work done.
I'll go over there and talk.
Yeah,
really
you can
good.
do that.
Thank you.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Okay, so I have filled in the cup. I've added some little highlights. Again, the left side has the lighter colors. And I still may have to add some little highlights and shadows, but this is good for now. I'm going to let that dry. And now I'm going to make the little heart design in the
So
foam.
you're staying with the red?
Well, in
or-
no, it's brown. In the coffee.
Okay.
The little heart design in the coffee.
Oh,
so for
yeah.
this, I'm going to
I
grab.
forgot about that.
Yeah, this is a little 1/4-inch filbert brush, okay? 1/4-inch
Alright.
filbert. And I'm going to mix my same little chocolate color. And this can be a little bit lighter because it's kind of mixed in with the foam, right? So mix a little color there. I think I need a little bit more red in there. So I'm going to mix that. And I'm going to come in, and we don't have to worry about this being like perfectly smooth brush stroke either, because it's like in the foam, right? So it would look a little,
Well, it is foamy.
yeah. So I'm going to come in, first I'm going to do a little heart. So I'm going to just put my brush, it's because it's curved at the top. I'm going to paint a little heart, like I'm going to put my brush down like this.
I gotta
And
watch
just
this.
pull it. So just make a little heart, okay? Great, grab some more, and then I'm just going to come around and see how that is more of a dry brush look. That's
Wow.
okay because again, it's foam. So, and just kind of outline it. Now some of that wet, the white picked up in there, I just like it. It makes it look a little more natural. And I'm just going to add, so there's our little design. I think my heart's a little wonky, but we'll fix that. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to work on the, we have some little hearts in the background and these little designs here. We're going to do that, and I'm going to give this a chance to dry. And the reason I need to let this dry, if I try to paint my little steam, my little warm curlicues, and this red is wet, we're going to have pink steam, right?
Okay,
Because
right.
it's going to pull some of that. And I can see it's a little bit wet. When it's shinier, it's still wet. So I'm going to
Good
let that
points.
dry. Now, the hearts and this little pattern, this kind of like, I don't know, just a little bit energy coming off the cup or something.
Yeah.
Depending on the thickness of that, if you want it a little bigger and chunkier and wider, you can grab a bigger brush. I'm using still that same 1/4-inch filbert to make the hearts, and because that's about the size that I want them to be. So we're going to work on the background, the hearts, and a little design, little pattern under the cup. Okay, so we are using our 1/4-inch filbert. And so I have my warm red. I took the red because again, acrylics dry a little darker. My background is a little bit darker, so I want this to pop. A little bit of yellow to warm it up. Tiny bit of white. Okay. Now to make the heart, you can, if you wanted solid heart, you can do that too. I'm just going to do some little outline heart shapes. So I'm going to put my brush down. Can you see my brush? Put my brush down, up, and around, just like that. I'm just going to do one side of the heart and then the other. Now these are much bigger than I have them on the design, but because that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. So, and then I'm going to do 3, usually odd numbers in design. Odd numbers tend to just, even though they're odd, they tend to be more balanced looking instead of the even number. So I'm going to do 3. Plus I feel like 3 kind of has some, maybe a little some spiritual significance
We
too,
do
right?
everything in threes also.
Do you? And you know, when I
Yeah.
designed it, I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I just feel like it should have 3 hearts. And I didn't think about that till now, but that actually works good. So we have 3 little hearts, and as you can see, I feel like they're a little darker. I just hit, that one has a little bit of white on there, that's okay. So just get your hearts in there. And then I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to take red, and I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow with it. And I just want some of these little dashes here. I'm going to push down, same brush, I'm pushing down, and as I pull, I'm going to lift up. And that's how you get that little pattern right there, okay? So push down and pull up, and you get your little tail. And that's pretty much it. I feel like I need one there. And then I'm going to do my foam. The steam, not the foam.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take white, same brush, the little filbert, and I like the little curly Q. So I'm going to start, we probably don't want it to be a solid opaque white. So I'm going to take some of that extra white. I'm going to load my brush, but I'm going to take some of that extra. I want more of a dry brush technique. Make sure your brush is really clean. I'm still getting pink in mine from the red. So I'm loading my brush, but I'm taking that excess paint off on a paper towel. I kind of want to see through it a little bit and see that cut through. So I'm going to try and see how this looks. I'm going to start here and just kind of see how you can still see through it a little bit.
That's cool.
If you have too much paint, you're going to cover it, which is okay, but I still want to see through it. You can add a little bit of water, but if you add too much water, it will reactivate the existing paint on the canvas and lift it back up. So you really don't want that. All right, so I'm going to come up here, do a little, I got some orange in there. Oh my. Oh well, that's going to have to do. You see how things happen. I might be able to cover that, or I might just leave it. But it's easier, I think, if you start at the bottom and come up. Just the, general direction of like the way your arm feels naturally wants to come up. And I'm just do some little swirls or
that's so
whatever
pretty.
whatever you want. Oops. And then I'll just add a couple little, see, I grabbed some of that red. That red was still wet, and that's okay. And then I feel like maybe there. You see how my red got in there accidentally, but I can always hit it when it dries. If I don't like it, I'm still deciding if I like it. I'm not sure. And that's it. And then I would say, look at the painting, see if it needs light or shadow. Now, as I was creating my little foam here, or steam, I keep saying foam, look at, I accidentally
got a little
splattered
splashes
some
there.
white dots on the canvas, so we'll leave those. And I'm just going to hit the little highlights. When you put the white down, oftentimes you have to touch up your whites again, because as they dry, sometimes you'll see the colors through. And that's pretty much it. And then just see one more little thing on the right side of the cup, the dark side of the cup. We're going to take white or pink or just anything that will make it show a little different, and we just want to hit a very tiny highlight right in here. See that right there? That's going to make that's like the reflection of the light from the table. We can just put that little bit. If it gets a little too much, you can always cover it back up. Cover that. And that's pretty much it. So I would say we are done with our painting. We're going to touch up any little details, and we will reveal our finished paintings of Cup of Love. So we finished our paintings, and we're going to reveal them. Everyone did great. As you can see, everyone has their own style, which is fantastic. Don't try to copy someone else's or make it look like someone else's work. Just do your own thing. And it's just just do your own thing, make it your own, and that's what's wonderful
We're
about
ready
it. So
to
here we
reveal.
go.
Okay.
Cup of love. Here's mine and Sonia's and Alan's. I love it. I love the variation in colors, everything. Just so good.
This was so fun.
All right, and then next episode, which will be our last episode, 12 for the year, we're going to paint a red cardinal. I call this the visitor. A lot of people tell me stories of cardinals that visit them. So that's called
In
the
honor
visitor.
of their dead family.
Their past, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we have a little cardinal in the background. They're always in pairs, the females and males cardinals. So thank you guys for joining us, and see you next year, hopefully. And thank you, Sonia, for
Absolutely.
coming.
This
Check
was
out
awesome.
Fresh Start Café in Canonsburg. It's fantastic. You can always go get some chocolate down the street when you're done too. It's Sarah's Candies.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for joining us,
Absolutely.
taking the
This was
time.
awesome.
And you did a great job. Alan, great job
you.
as always. So.
Thank you, great teacher.
Okay.
All of you get the videos on YouTube. Get a kit. You can't go wrong. Look at me, 11 paintings in a row.
Yeah.
I'm honored. I only got a little paint on me and my new
It's all
fleece.
good.
Didn't get anything on it.
It's good.
So I'm
And it-
good.
yeah.
Thank you, Sonia, for being here.
Thank
I got to stop in
you.
and we'll have a tea discussion.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's good
I
stuff.
can't wait. It's
All
going to be
right.
awesome.
And it-
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. If you need any instructions for drawing or the description of the materials, that's on YouTube, Maria's Ideas Art. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
See you next month.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Yay.